Hey, I have accidentally lost 10 pounds within the last 2 to 3 weeks. I don't know how. I didn't even try. I didn't even try to lose weight. I ate normally, I slept normally, I exercised normally, and I lost 10 pounds. I went from 135 to 125 pounds. Yep, totally healthy. What's up, it's the Culture Detective here, investigating your favorite TV shows, and today I'm gonna do a review on Black Mirror, Season 1. So, Black Mirror is a mini tiny TV series from the United Kingdom, and yeah, Season 1 is released in 2011. For a very long time, I've been wanting to watch Black Mirror. People have been saying that it's this dystopian, satirical, socio-political statement thing. And everyone's saying, oh, it's so deep. Oh, Black Mirror, oh. So, of course, it has piqued my interest. So I watched Season 1. Only 3 episodes, and before going into the season, I was like, oh, maybe one episode is like 1.5 hours long, like Sherlock, BBC. But actually, no, one episode is about an hour long. That's it. So 3 hours. So yeah, this is going to be a small review. But every single episode is a different story, and it's directed by different people. And that is very, very apparent and obvious in Black Mirror. That's why these episodes, they're kind of like movies, but just really short. And this is like a trilogy, but just really short. So I'm going to go over Season 1 episode by episode. Starting off, we have Episode 1, which is the National Anthem, where some guy kidnapped a princess and threatened the Prime Minister of the UK to have sex with a pig live on national TV in order to save the princess. And I get that it's trying to do this satirical thing, but I didn't laugh. Throughout the entire episode, I did not laugh. I did not find any of this comedic. In fact, I feel really, really bad for the Prime Minister, whose name is Michael something. Yeah, I felt really bad for him. I worried about him. And I thought the premise was pretty interesting. It's not a bad premise at all. But what this episode failed at is that I just wish it has more of a payoff. It just kind of happened and it ends. I feel like the climax is the last scene of the episode, and after the climax, it just ends abruptly. And it just feels really unsatisfying. I want to know what's his reaction afterwards. How did he recover from all that? And another thing about this episode is that it's so implausible. If something like this really happened in real life, first of all, the military, the police and the military would do way more than just trying to raid houses to find a kidnapper. They cannot be this incompetent. Second of all, I think the way the people act in this episode is overly dramatic, and it doesn't really have that grounded, realistic feel to them that I usually like from dialogues. Not to say that it's bad, because similar writing styles are present in TV shows like BBC Sherlock, but it works in BBC Sherlock because when we watch Sherlock, we're pretty much in Sherlock's mindset, and everything's so overly stiff and satirical and comedically dramatic, and it kind of makes sense. But in this situation, it just feels overly dramatic without much context. Again, the premise is interesting. I think the acting is not that bad. It's not great either, but it's not that bad. And yeah, there's also this side storyline where this one reporter was like, oh, I'm gonna sneak in to the building and get the kidnapper on like TV and sort of broadcast it, and I just don't care. I just don't seem to care about the storyline at all. Alright, I am giving the National Anthem light to decent 7 out of 10. The second episode is called 15 Million Merits, and this is way better than episode 1. Way better. For some reason, this episode is like 100 times more cinematic than episode 1. It's like sci-fi 1984 kind of episode. We have Daniel Kaluuya playing the main character. His name is Bing. And he and other people in the world has been living in like this infinitely huge like indoors facility place where they wake up in a prison cell every day, and they do exercises in order to gain merit points, and they have to spend these merit points to buy food. So people encourage them to eat healthy. And at first I thought, okay, maybe this episode is like, ooh, what if the society runs on like this currency? Then actually, isn't that real life? But just in a nutshell, actually the real thing about this episode, the real catch of this episode is that there is a talent show called Hot Shots, and Bing met this girl, and her name is Abby, and thought that Abby is a really good singer. So he decided to spend all of his merit points and give them to Abby, and let Abby join Hot Shots and compete as the best singer. And turns out it's a huge sham. It's a huge sham. It's a huge scam. Hot Shots is actually lame, and it doesn't matter who performs on the stage, because there are 3 judges, and each 3 of the judges are responsible for like a particular part of the system. And there's this black dude, and when Abby went onto the stage, she didn't even start singing, and the black dude's like, wow, you're hot, show me your tits, come on, take off your shirt, show me your tits, show me your tits. And it's so unrealistic, but it's hilarious as well. And so at the end, of course, she's a good singer, but the judges didn't care. They just want her to do porn. And so Bing got so angry. He raged, and he finally came up with a plan to sort of, again, gain a lot of merits and spend 15 million merit points to buy himself another ticket to Hot Shots and pretend to be one of the contestants, but he has ulterior motives as well. I like this story way better. It has a way better build-up, and I think Daniel Kaluuya's acting in this episode is amazing, especially in the climax. The sweat, the shouts, the stutters, it's fantastic. Easily best performance of the entire season 1. I also like the premise of the episode. It both has this 1984 vibe to it, but it also tackles talent show culture. But what I think it tackles even more is the entertainment industry itself, where people work really hard, earn a lot of money, spend a lot of effort just to reach a certain level of fame, just to have that fame be put somewhere else and be wasted, or all that effort be put somewhere else and be wasted, and they just become part of the problem, part of the vicious, toxic cycle that is the entertainment industry, sort of breaking people's dreams again and again and again, and ruining their lives in general. And honestly, I really like that. The one gripe I have with this episode is that the audience of the Hot Shots, the talent show, is the general public. And the people who join Hot Shots as a contestant is also the general public. So if the general public watches Hot Shots, they would know that Hot Shots is a bullshit talent show that ruins people's lives. Then why would they join it themselves? But that's only a minor flaw in my opinion. It's a pretty good episode, feeling a decent 8 on this thing. Alright, over to the final episode, which is personally my favorite of the 3. It's not written by Charles Brooker, who is also the creator of Black Mirror. It is written by Jesse Armstrong, who is also apparently a writer in the show that is Succession. But anyways, back to the episode. The episode is called the entire history of You, where the story is way simpler. It's basically a man questioning his unloyal wife who's cheating on him with a douchebag. But with a technological dystopian twist, of course, where everyone has a grain in their necks and it's connected to their eyes and it records everything. So they don't have to worry about forgetting anymore because it records everything they see from day-to-day life. Of course, they can turn it off, they can erase, but it records everything. And everybody has this grain. And so through these memory grains, and also like after the grain records what you see as a memory, you can rewatch them. It's called a redo. You can rewatch them on the screen. You can rewatch them in your eyes. Like, you can just rewatch them. And with this technological dystopian twist, a man finds out that his wife is unloyal to him after having dinner with several other people, including the douchebag guy. And what I like about this episode is that the story is way simpler, and it takes its time to build tension and character. But what I like even more about this episode is that none of the characters are likable. Of course, with the unloyal wife, who likes an unloyal wife? She belongs to the streets. And then we have the douchebag guy who is just as guilty as the unloyal wife, who cheats on everyone, who sleeps with everyone, doesn't commit to relationships at all, and is a douchebag. And then we have the main character who is more morally on the right side, but the way he handles things is so mean and so violent. At first, I thought maybe he's a bit of a villain of the story, because at first he's overly obsessive with this douchebag guy. Like, did you sleep with him? Did you sleep with him? Tell me the truth. Look me in the eyes. Did you sleep with him? And at first, I'm like, damn, he's a little obsessive with this douchebag guy. But the more he digs through memories, the more he realizes, wow, okay, yep, my wife actually slept with this douchebag. So at the end of the day, no one is the real victor. No one is the real loser. No, everyone is the loser. No one is the real victor. And the moral of the story is actually a little bit confusing, because at the end of the day, it is by rewatching his own memories does he find out that his wife is unloyal. So this story isn't like, oh, if you have this technology, it's bad, technology bad. But this is actually just a simple unloyal wife story, but with a technological twist. And it's done like a little better than episode 2, and a lot better than episode 1. And I'm feeling a strong 8 on this thing. Strong 8. So, overall, put all these 3 episodes average together, Black Mirror Season 1, in my opinion, is a light 8 out of 10. So, have you watched Black Mirror Season 1? From 1 to 10, how much did you rate it? Like it, and subscribe if you want more. And thanks for watching. Next TV show, Mad Men Season 3. And then Lost Season 6. And then I'll watch Narcos Season 3. And WandaVision.